guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-filled gush for The Winter's Kiss by Marie Rakowski. So first off, this book was so stressful. I don't think it was quite as stressful as The Winter's Crime was, just because The Winter's Crime was a second book, and I knew going into this that whatever happened, we were going to get some kind of conclusion. You know, like I knew we were never going to be left with a hanger at the end or anything like that. So I wasn't as stressed out about this book, I think because it was the third book and I knew that something had to happen and that things were going to somehow work out. I mean, whether they were going to get together and like die or something, we were going to get an ending. Where in the second book I was like, things aren't going to end up well and oh my god, I have one more year and holy shit, I can't do this. So this was a lot more of a less stressful read, although I was still stressed because like I said, I read it in one sitting, so that's a stressful read in general. So I love that more thorough integration of gods into this book and the religion of the Harani people and of Aaron and his connection with the god of death. That is so cool. I actually saw Marie Rakowski at a book event last spring and she was writing this book, or had just finished it, and she said that she was mentioning that Aaron was touched by the god of death, or that she has a connection with the god of death, and I was like, that can't be good. I was so stressed out, but I love how this turned out, and that being affiliated with the god of death is both a positive and a negative in a lot of ways, and that he is blessed, but that he also has to deal with a lot of stuff that is not good, and he almost had to kind of give up on Kestrel because of his connection with the god of death, and making the god of death happy, and all of that is so wonderful. Also, I'm so glad that Kestrel and Aaron were not separated for like the entire book, and we only got them together at the end. I was so worried with this book that we were going to have them either not get back together until the middle or the end, and I was just so petrified that we would just have only a little bit with them and then it'd just be done. And we didn't have that, thank goodness, although we did have Kestrel not having any memories. Like, I can't even deal with that. Like, as soon as she like didn't recognize him, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have them like not communicating more, but again, not in a contrived way. Like, I never feel like the miscommunication in this series is for no reason, and I always feel like the miscommunication is completely valid and that they aren't talking for good reason, whether they can't talk because she's a spy in book 2, or whether they can't talk because she doesn't remember him, because she blocked it from her brain because she has post-traumatic stress disorder and like she's gone through so much. Like, I just can't. And I just love just narratives where you have a main character either embracing their power or embracing a side of themselves that they had forgotten or locked away, and that is kind of this element of her remembering everything and remembering pieces of herself and kind of joining her self that she's kind of turned into and the person who she is after going through all this horrible stuff, and then joining that with the person that she was before and the love that she had, and just the fact that, can we talk about the fact that she remembered him, like her body remembered like loving him, like she knew that he felt like familiar and that she recognized his facial expressions even when her mind didn't remember him. Like, I can't even talk about how OTP this OTP is. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me how great they are. I just love them. I love that they finally, in this book, were honest with one another, that they have said that from the beginning that they have always had their relationship that's kind of been built on lies, and when they finally got back together and everything, that they were like, we're going to be honest with one another, and we're going to say what is going on and not miscommunicate like we have been this entire time. And they both got the chance to apologize to one another for the things they did to one another, and he got to apologize for believing her lies, and it's just like, oh my gosh, and just when he realized that like she had lied to him and he bought it, and that she lied to him to save him and all this stuff, and she got to apologize for lying to him and for being betrayed by her father and for making mistakes, but she's so human and she's so strong, and they're just amazing characters, and I just can't get over like all of the things that they went through and the relationship depth that they have, and also just like Kestrel's situation with her father and going through all of that, reliving it, like the trauma that her brain like couldn't remember that she'd been like abandoned by her father. Like, her brain couldn't deal with that. I also loved that we got a lot of Rorschach in this. I loved him in book 2, but I love him so much, and we got so much of him, and I wasn't expecting that going into this. I didn't think he'd be around so much, but I just really enjoy him and his sass, and I enjoy his relationship with both Aaron and Kestrel. I love that they were all kind of close to one another, and the ending with him naming, you know, his tiger Aaron, and then doing what the queen wanted to do, but kind of twisting her words and getting out of it because he was so close with Aaron, and how they said that they loved each other as friends. Like, you never really see that, especially with male characters, and I love that they did that, and that they had that close bond. I do wish we would have gotten a lot more of some of the side characters. We obviously got a lot of Roshar, but I wish we would have seen more of the Queen. I wish we would have seen more of Varix and Risa. I love both of them, and we really got to know them a lot more in book 2, and I thought we were going to see them more in book 3. I'm glad we got what we got of them, but especially Risa, with her being like a badass assassin girl, and we only get like a little snippet of her, and I wish we would have gotten more. That's my only really big complaint about this book, is I wish we would have gotten more of some of the side characters. We got enough. I just wanted like a smidge more, you know? I love the conclusion of both of them taking down kind of a piece of the puzzle. I love that she took down the Emperor, which she was due justice from him, and I did not see that whole ending coming with her poisoning him. Like, I kind of knew in the back of my head, I was like, they mentioned this poison, and that has to come up again. So is her, like, dagger poison? Like, something's gonna happen with poison. And then I realized that it was the tiles, because I was like, why is she throwing this game, and what is going on? And when she poisoned him through the tiles and she outwitted him, it was just like, she is so just strong with her intelligence and her wit and her cunning, and just the fact that she took down the most conniving spider in the entire realm and just took him down completely. He completely didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming as a reader. It was amazing. And I love that simultaneously while that was happening, Aaron was taking down like the army, the military part of it, with like his, you know, death blessed person. It was beautiful. And I love that he didn't kill her father. That was such a struggle throughout the whole book. And I love that ultimately he didn't kill her dad, and that her and her dad kind of have this, we have this kind of vague ending of him being around, you know, she's like, I'm not going to kill you. And, you know, you had these scenes where someone said like, oh, you know, your dad was looking for you in the bodies, you know, like on the beach. He was looking to see if you were in there, and like he kept the letter that you wrote to Aaron. Like, they have such a complicated relationship, and I'm glad that even though we didn't get to see it, we got to see a little snippet and have this promise of they're going to talk in the future, and something's going to happen with them in the future, and they have an opportunity to not mend what happened, because he in a lot of ways was kind of like abusive towards her, and just like a lot of things, like they didn't match up in what they wanted, and he wanted her to be someone different than what she was, and there's a lot of, you know, pain with that. But I'm glad that they got to still she didn't get to be orphaned or anything, you know, she didn't have to lose her father, that she still has him because she loved him so much, and it's repeated throughout the book how much she loves him, so I think that's really important that he is sticking around. As far as the ending, I loved the ending. I think that having them finally perform together, her do the music and him sing, and that the music has kind of been their connection from the beginning, and that they finally get to do this together, it was the perfect ending. It was amazing. I will say that about this book, I do have problems with finales a lot of times. The finales never quite live up to my expectations. I have very few that I think actually meet the bar that I have set so highly for them. So with this being a war situation, I do think that somebody should have died, honestly, besides the Emperor. I think that it's very unlikely that such main power players should have died. I was actually honestly expecting both of them to die before the end, to be completely honest. I'm glad that didn't happen. I would have been completely heartbroken. But I think somebody more important should have died, because war has loss, and we just didn't get really to see that. We did get, you know, hints throughout the series of people kind of like dying and side characters dying, but I think that we needed a little more of a punch. Maybe that's just me, because I am very into pain when it comes to my finales and just like the punch in the gut kind of finales, but I think overall this book wrapped up so wonderfully, and it really hit on all the themes of the story throughout that we have gotten. It was the ending that I feel like we were promised from the beginning, and it was just a beautiful conclusion with them being together, being happy together, and having this bond through all the things they've been through, and then also music, and just kind of wrapped up so beautifully, and I obviously loved it. So comment down below and let me know what you thought of The Winter's Kiss. Thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye!